Success! Oh, hi. Glad you're here. I'm glad to be with you. This, I must reiterate, this video is not for you. Turn it off. Leave now. This video is not for you. Especially this one. This, if anyone watches this, this will make you hate me. This is intended for not only my own records, but friends, family, and loved ones who, if anything, God forbid, were to happen to me, they get a peek in here, since some of these, most of these are things that I've expressed to random people. I haven't gotten much pushback, but as the overall population, no one would dare agree with any of my statements. But everything I've expressed in as many stories as I could tell about my life, of what made me who I am today, this is how I became who I am today, and how and why I think and feel the things in the way I do. Who am I? I am Paul Charman, born in Canada, raised in America. But first and foremost, I'm a father. Period, the end. My son is the only thing that matters to me. He's the alpha and the omega, the end-all, be-all. My son Flynn is the only thing I care about. Period. And I will do anything and everything in my life for him. My life is over. I mean, they say that, don't have kids when you're young, because your life is over when you have a kid, whether you're 16 or 46. Having a child means your life is over. Your life is now about them. Your life is their life. And if you can't accept that, don't have children. Too many people out there have kids, and they shouldn't, because they don't really want them. But unfortunately, all people care about is sex. They'll do anything and everything to have it. It's not necessary. You can self-gratify. You don't need physical contact. All you're going to get is either a child or an STD. More than likely both. I guess I'll start with my feelings on relationships, which some people think I came to this conclusion because of my own bitter experiences. But no, I've felt this way for about 6 or 7 years. And it first sprouted from non-stop hearing other people, everyone, my entire life, whether it was my parents, friends, anyone in a relationship, non-stop complaining about their relationship, about betrayal or loneliness or ownership. Relationships are the downfall of humanity, and the need for companionship is a weakness that can be overcome. I've been single for almost a decade, and I will never, ever again be in a relationship. I won't even think about it. To quote Kramer from Seinfeld, "Is it all right if I go to the bathroom now?" Yeah. Relationships mean you need someone else's permission to live your life. And I've seen maybe 1 or 2 relationships where the people seem happy. And they tell me, oh, well, you just have to make sacrifice. Why? Why make a sacrifice when you can be you? I get to do whatever the heck I want whenever I want. Colin Farrell says it beautifully in The Lobster. I can do what I want. I can, play with myself whenever I want. I can listen to the songs I'd like. But everyone feels this we've been brainwashed as a society into thinking we have to find someone and be with them forever in order to be happy, and that's not true. I have only found true happiness through being alone. I don't get lonely. Sure, I have my son, and maybe I would feel different if I didn't, but relationship cause nothing but trauma and drama. And it's as if you need to possess someone. Let's get married so I own you, so that you're mine and you're not allowed to be with anyone else, and if you do, it's a betrayal. Why? Why own someone? Why give yourself to someone else? And on top of that, relationships, much like religion, bring nothing but pain and violence. Everything ends. Everything ends. All relationships will end, even if you're together for the rest of your lives. It will end. Or, like my parents, you'll just be miserable for the rest of your life. Being stuck with someone you don't want to be with anymore. I got married at the age of 21. And by the time we were 25, we were totally different people who wanted different things. People change. So when you're in a long-term relationship, eventually you're not going to want to be with them anymore. Nothing lasts forever. But relationships are the cause of so much violence and death. You look at domestic, you look at murder, you look at mass shootings. So many mass shootings are the result of someone trying to kill their ex, or someone who broke their heart, or just going through the emotional trauma of losing someone they wanted to be with. Relationships bring nothing but bad. And unfortunately, society will never get away from that, because they want to have this opportunity to have sex whenever they want. Which, trust me, if you want to have sex whenever you want, be single. Because being in a relationship or being married is the first step to not doing that whenever you want. But I have just seen no one happy, truly. Because you have to sacrifice something. You have to give up a piece of yourself to be with someone else. Why? I get to be me, fully intact. Because I have no one else to hold me down. So, also, let me tell you a little story about cars. I don't think cars should be legal. They're a convenience that once was invented. Everyone, oh, you gotta have a car. Oh, you don't have a car? Oh, why you don't have a car? Oh, you can't get anywhere without a car. Oh, how are you gonna have a car? Really? We lived for thousands of years as a species without cars. You can use a wagon. You can, yada, yada, yada. We have these things I like to call, my car is my Chevrolegs. You can walk. But yet, society has built their cities to where, oh, I need a car to get from point A to point B faster. Cars are just a lazy mode of transportation. I can get anywhere on land without a car. It just will take a little bit longer. Ask Forrest Gump. You can get there just fine. We don't need cars. Cars cause more deaths than almost anything else. So, I don't think they should be something that anyone gets to have. 99.9% of people don't know how to drive and drive irrationally. And everyone speeds. And when you speed, you speed. And when you speed, you're endangering yours and everyone else's life on the road. Plus us pedestrians. But no one seems to care about that. All we care about is, I'm behind the wheel. And let me just say, I don't think that all women are bad drivers. But in my experience, most bad drivers are women. I'm just saying. They seem to not care as much. They seem to want to be in more control. And then you got teenagers. The fact that we give 16-year-olds licenses, that's insane. I can't tell you how many times, okay, I can. Pretty much every day, pretty much every single day, I almost get hit by a car when using the crosswalk. Because people don't pay attention and they don't care about pedestrians. Especially those at a red light turning right. And here I am using the crosswalk that says cross, and all they're doing is looking left. Any cars coming? No? Cool. Whoops! There's someone crossing the street. Pay the F attention. But cars should not be legal whatsoever. Be like me. Use a bike. Use your legs. Use a scooter. Live near where you work. There's buses. If we had nothing but subways and buses and bikes and scooters, we would save so many lives, and the world would be a much safer place. Sorry that it would be an inconvenience to you and it would take more time, but so many people die every second from car accidents or drunk drivers or what have you. Imagine if there were no cars on the road. In addition, the only cars on the road would be, sure, your buses, but would also just be police cars, ambulances, and fire trucks. And imagine how many lives they would also save without having to honk and hoot and holler and have you get the heck out of their way because people don't know how to pull over when they hear and see sirens. They'd get straight to the problem real quick. So I don't think cars should be something that everyone gets the privilege of. Because we also have another problem on this planet, and it's called overpopulation. Thanos was right. 100%. This planet is extremely overpopulated, and this species is not only going to die, but we're already dying because of it. We only have so much space. We only have so much food. But yet here we are, pumping out babies. The fact that anyone can have as many kids as they'd like without that being regulated is insane. Because of political views, of all lives matter, but no lives matter. Period. The end. We shouldn't be allowing anyone to have babies and then the government just gives them money. Oh, you've got 10 kids and you're poor? Here you go. Here's your tax bonus for all those kids so that you can afford them. No. I believe each person should be allowed one child. One child. That means if I have a child and I break up with that person who had a child and I get with someone else, if they don't have a child, we could have one more. That'll be their child. If they do already have a child, we're done. No more kids. If you can do the math, you can see where that's going. Not only would our species thrive and continue because we'd all get one kid, but the planet wouldn't be overpopulated. It would stay the same. That's why there's earthquakes and hurricanes and floods and famines and tsunamis and all of these natural disasters are nature's way of trying to thin out the population because we are destroying the planet. Humanity is Earth's cancer. We are a disease. We do not deserve to exist. There's spoiler alert, the original series of Planet of the Apes films with Charlton Heston. He didn't want to come back for the sequel, so he said, I'll come back if you kill me, and I'm barely in it. So he's barely in the movie, but at the end, there's a button he gets to press that blows up the world. And he does not hesitate. And let me tell you right now, if there was a button in front of me that would blow up this planet, I wouldn't hesitate for a second. Because this species is an abomination. And we don't deserve what we have. We need to regulate population. And then you wouldn't have starving people. You wouldn't have homeless people. You wouldn't have, what are we at now? 8 billion people on this planet, and they're saying within the next 10 to 20 years it's going to be 9? We will not survive. Because we think, oh, we need to, everybody gets to have as many kids as they want. And then that's another thing. Do you know why there's bigots and bullies and despicable racists in this world? Because bigots and bullies and despicable racists are allowed to have children. And then guess what? they raise their children the same. But if you said, oh, sorry, you failed the test, turns out you're a bigot and a racist, you're not allowed to have kids. Next thing you know, this world would be perfectly balanced with a bunch of smart, decent, equal-minded folk. But it's too late. No one's ever going to go along with that. Oh, no, every life is precious. I'm pro-abortion, but I'm pro-abortion because I'm pro-kill as many people on this planet as possible because, my God, the fact that we can just procreate without it even being a thought. All because people just want to get their rocks off. And then you have people, oh, we got 10 kids. Wow, what a selfish thing. Having children is a very selfish thing. I understand I'm a father, and my child is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. But I also understand that it's very selfish of me because I wanted to raise a child. And I still feel guilty every single day that I brought a child into this despicable world. And I'll tell you something else. I don't like dogs. At all. And I hate dog owners. Bye. See you later. Go ahead, comment below. Go ahead and click the thumbs down. Pets, maybe for children. Pretty much to teach them about death. That's what pets are for. Get a goldfish, get a hamster, maybe a cat, sure. But when you have a grown adult who has no kids, especially if they're in a relationship, but even if they're single and they have a pet or a dog especially, just to fill that hole, that need for companionship, that's disgusting. That's not necessary. Like I said, the need for companionship is a weakness that can be overcome. If you've seen my other videos leading up to this, you understand I used to be someone who believed in nothing but true love and soulmates, and I just had to be in a relationship, and I was absolutely tortured and depressed and suicidal and homicidal when I didn't have that relationship or when I felt alone. I overcame that. And now I would be absolutely disgusted to be in a relationship. But then to fill that void with an animal? They're animals. Literally. They're not people. I don't care how cute they are or that they have these eyes or they have feelings and they weep and whine. They're just stupid dogs, okay? The only thing animals on this planet have going for them is that we're the worst ones. Human beings are the worst, most despicable animals on this planet. But we don't need to be bringing them into our homes and treating them like they're humans just to feel better about ourselves. Please. Talk about a weakness. Well, let's talk about racism. The reason racism exists in the world, and the reason why it will always exist in the world is, yes, of course, partially of what I talked about before. People raise their kids that way. Racists should not be allowed to have children. But the reason is, we're not helping when we're trying to be inclusive. When you say, oh my gosh, there's not enough Asians in movies, or you say, oh my gosh, women are being treated differently, or oh my gosh, blacks are being persecuted in a certain way. Yes, I understand that, and that's all true, and all different cultures are different, and we should all embrace. But the problem is, when you're bringing up inclusion, you're being racist. You're saying this sect of people need to be treated differently. Yes, you're saying they need to be treated better, and I completely agree. Everyone should be treated better than we're being treated. But we should all just be treated as people. There's a brilliant Sesame Street song when I was a kid. called We Are All Earthlings. And that's one of the great things about things like Star Trek. Once there's other species out there, we'll start to think more about ourselves as Earthlings, as a collective humanity. But when you're separating people, oh, the blacks need this, the Jews need that, the Asians need that, us white people, oh, rabble, rabble, rabble. No, you're still spreading racism. You're brainwashing our children into thinking we should all be treated differently because we're different. No, we should all be treated the same because we're all human. I have never seen skin color or culture or sex or anything to be a reason to treat someone less or more. I treat everyone the same exact way. You're either a good person and I treat you good, or you're a bad person and I treat you bad. That's all. It's pretty plain and simple. We're all different. We all have different faces. We all have different hair colors. We all have different likes and dislikes. Does that mean we should all be segregated depending on those things? No, we accept that we're all different. Why can't we do that with race as well? Your race should have nothing to do with anything. But as long as we continue to bring up race, race will be the issue. Let it go. Stop talking about it. Call people people. Equal opportunity, yes, I get it. I'm sorry that I'm sure I sound extremely insensitive. But my point is pretty plain. Treat everyone the same way, period, the end. But you can't do things like treat them better because they've been treated worse. No, you're still signifying them as a specific thing. No, treat all people as people, because we all deserve to be treated the same. For those of you still with me, government and voting, especially in the country of the United States of America, voting does not matter. Your vote does not count. Yes, your little check mark counts, but it's not going to change anything. Ever. Ever. Politicians are politicians because they want power. So they become politicians, and they will always continue to do the same old thing. And I'll tell you the worst part of why voting doesn't matter. There's a reason why a racist, sexist, bigot became president of the United States. Guess what? Well, A, racist, sexist, bigots voted for him, and B, there's a lot of close-minded people out there who have to vote for their party. Well, I'm Republican, so I'm going to vote for whoever's running for Republican. Darn, it's this guy, oh well. Hitler could run for president and be a Democrat. And all Democrats would vote for him because I gotta vote Democrat. No. And voting doesn't matter. Let's say you have 50 chimpanzees. And then you ask those chimpanzees to vote for what the giraffes are going to eat. Well, they're all going to vote bananas. And now the giraffe is screwed eating bananas. The giraffe doesn't need bananas. My point of that analogy is, unfortunately, because we let everyone and anyone vote, that means we're letting racists, bigots, sexists, and morons vote. We should not. You should have to pass a test. Oh, sorry, you can't vote. We don't let felons vote. But yet Joe Blow, who knows nothing, can vote. Or Mr. I hate everyone and thinks the Ku Klux Klan should rule the country. He can vote. Why? So now all of those votes by those morons who want to destroy this country are negating your votes. And trust me, those moronic bigots are starting to outnumber us philosophical, smart thinkers. Okay? So I don't bother. I voted once when I was young, and I regret it to this day. I will never vote again. Not until they at least diminish the Electoral College and regulate who can vote. You got to pass some kind of quiz. We need to be regulating parenting. We need to be regulating voting. We need to be regulating driving. But no, we don't care, because then there'll be an uproar of people going, "That's not right. I have every right." And so that brings me to my final point. No one matters. Nothing matters. And I'm saying this after having to recently come to the conclusion that pretty much brought myself evidence that nothing matters. Here's this ring. See this ring? This ring means absolutely nothing to you. To you, it's absolute garbage. You could care less about it. To me, this ring means a lot. It represents a lot. And it's a very valuable prized possession to me. So if I dropped dead right now, wouldn't that be something? That'd make one heck of a video. I just wouldn't be able to upload it. Excuse me. Let's say I drop dead right now. Now this ring goes back to having no value, meaning absolutely nothing to no one. It only meant something to me. So you have to give value to something in order for it to be valuable. And it's the same with people. Think about it right now. Me. You can use me as an example if you like. But the point being, there's plenty of people on the other side of the planet from where you are right now. Just now, just dropped dead. Just now. Right this second. Someone just died. Do you care? No. You might, oh, how's that? No, you don't care. Because you don't know them. You don't know who they were. They have no connection to you. They're meaningless to you. Which then, logically speaking, means none of us have any value unless someone else values us. I'm valuable to my son. My son is valuable to me. But myself and my son have no value to you. You could care less if you never saw me again. Or if something tragic were to happen to someone I care about. You wouldn't care unless you cared about them. So let's say there was someone who grew up their entire life never having met a single soul. And then they died. They had no value whatsoever. They had value to themselves. Self-preservation, of course. But you strip away someone else caring, and everything is just stardust floating through space with no real value. So everything around you, every person you know, yourself, myself, means absolutely nothing. I have no value except for to those who value me. But when you remove them from the equation, I'm nothing. This species thinks that everything's so precious just because it's living. We are no different than a freaking maggot. Than the bacteria living inside of our stomachs. We're just... oh, we have the ability to talk and drive and derpy 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 der. That doesn't make us any better than viruses. Which is all we are. We're viruses. We procreate, we consume, we defecate. That is our only purpose on this planet. We like to think as philosophical thinkers that there's more meaning than that, but there's not. There's not. You strip everything away, and it means nothing. Which to me just proves nothing has any value. Everything and everyone are meaningless, pointless. Until we give it. Sure, that's a wonderful thing when we do. But that doesn't mean any of us are special. Because we're not. We're pathetic human beings who do not deserve to draw a single breath on this planet. It's tragic, isn't it? I'm turning 40 in 2 weeks. And And this is where I'm at. This is what life has made me. And sometimes I don't like that I think and feel this way about these things. But I can't deny them. It's just who I've become. It's just where my logic has brought me. It'd be nice to not be such a cynic, but I am. I'm a cynic who despises the human race. So like I said, I'm a father. And my son is the only thing I give a damn about. And if you're watching, son, I'm sorry. But know this, I was a completely different person 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And I'm well aware and will be the first to acknowledge that the way I feel right now, everything I've just said, could change. It could change tomorrow, it could change 10 years from now, it could change on my deathbed. Maybe it will never. But I know that I can change. I just don't see it happening. Because everything around me I've seen, especially in this country, just gets worse. I don't see any hope anymore. Don't feel sorry for me. You can be mad at me if you want. You can yell and scream that I'm such a horrible person and you disagree with me. That's fine. But as of right now, pushing 40, I'm just a bitter old man ready to scream at people to get off my lawn if I had one. And all I care about is my son. Hey, maybe one day when he's gone as far as moved away or moved on to his own life, maybe then I'll get lonely, but I think I'll be all right. So people are always changing, and no one is special. But my son is. My son is special to me. I love you, son. I will continue to live my life for you. Because my life is over. And this planet needs to be rid of this cancer. I don't think this species will exist for longer than a couple, maybe 311 years tops. Good riddance. We are a disgusting species. Selfish. Every single thing any human being has ever done or ever will do will be selfish. Even the good things you're doing to feel good. Every single thing we do is for selfish reasons. Humans do the only two things that any other living thing does. We consume and defecate. Even media. We consume and defecate. But I have a glimmer of hope. As children are the future. And if my son stays as he is, then there are more like him. Maybe this planet and species has a chance. But the only way we're going to have that chance is if we get rid of all the moronic bigots out there, which ain't going to happen unless we regulate all that stuff I was talking about. If a lot of people love each other, the world would be a better place to live. What a story. That's me. We'll see who I am next time. Happy 40th to me. It's been one hell of a ride. Again, I love you, son. He could change my mind. Maybe. Someday. Okie dokie.